As a developer, why is it always easier for you to work on your own projects? Why do you keep on hearing people say that communication is vital to the success of any software development project? Why do people tell you that developers who have soft skills such as communication are of higher value than those who don't? And the reason is, when you work on your own projects as a software developer, you absorb, process, and express all within your head. Right? Communication takes place all within your head. You have the skills as the developer, which is the processing part. You have your own ideas, which you think about, which is the absorption part. And then you express that into code, and you talk to yourself, and refine your ideas. When all of this happens within your head, it becomes all low latency and everything is fine and smooth and efficient and you enjoy it. But then you go to work or you work on a team and then you find out that things are not so enjoyable anymore. And the reason for this is because the communication process or the communication cycle now has elements which are outside of your control, which are outside your head. And those are the absorption part and the expression part. You have to listen to stakeholders tell you what they want. You have to absorb all that information and then use your software development skills to come up with the best way of solving that problem, meeting that requirement, and you express it through code. And you have to also do some kind of, explanation or feedback to the stakeholders in non-technical terms. All of a sudden, there's a break. You can only process, but you need to be able to rely on the stakeholders or your team members to absorb information and then express information. And there's so many chances that things could get misunderstood along the way. So you have to go back and forth. Now, as a developer, if you're able to communicate very well, then it gives you upper hand against your peers. Here's why. In a typical software project, developers produce software that is used by domain experts. The domain experts understand the industry, but they don't have the software development skills. The software developers have the software development skills, but they don't understand the domain as much as these experts. So these two need to come together to produce software that solves their problem. It's always easier for the development team to learn about the domain than it is for the domain experts to learn software development skills. Now, because you have this dynamic, you find out that communication becomes the most important thing for the success of any software that will be used in this scenario. These domain experts have to express to the software development team. The software development team has to be able to absorb all that information. Of course, use their software development skills, which is the processing part, to design and create the software. And they do that by expressing that into code. So they write code to create the software. And they also have some kind of audio-visual communication that they express to the domain experts in terms of demos, presentations, and this has to be in non-technical language most of the time. So what happens is, in a situation like this, you have this outer, you can see these dotted lines on the outer part of this diagram. It shows that everyone here is almost working like a single mind, right? The absorption, the processing, the expression is happening within this big team, right? And they have some kind of shared understanding. I have an article of shared understanding on my website. You can find the link below and read that. It helps you understand shared understanding and its impact on the development team. So they're functioning like one big mind. If for any reason there is a break, one software developer doesn't really absorb as much as they should, they don't understand what the requirements are, or they fail to express what they need to express to the domain experts, you find out that they will write code which will be considered as bad code. Technically, it might be good or perfect code, but it's going to be bad code because value is determined by meeting the requirements of the domain experts. So a team that is better in communication will produce better software, which brings more value. A software developer who is able to communicate better will bring more value to the team because they're able to absorb, process, and express information that will bring value to the domain experts or whoever the end user of that software is. So as a software developer, you need to be able to understand those key concepts. That the reason why real projects tend to be the way they are is dependent on how efficient communication flows in that team, in that larger team. So the better you are at understanding and absorbing information and expressing that information to whoever you're dealing with, whether it's your manager, the client, stakeholders, the better you will be as a software developer. If you got any value out of this video, please like, share, and subscribe.